Boom, hello!
Hi.
And welcome to this week's GGEZ Double XP's weekly chat show. I'm Alex.
I'm Alec.
And we have a lovely new set behind us today. I pulled out the hobbycraft knowledge and just built some sets.
Hobbycraft knowledge.
Yeah, well, just like arts and crafty stuff. I haven't done arts and crafts in a long time.
Is that like a degree?
I'll tell you what, so we're going to get into EGX later, but we took some of the things that we got from EGX, some of the games. If you can spot your game, then good stuff. And then we made it into a set.
Then GG.
And it was GG easy to make. But on this show, we of course talk about 3 topics every single week of the zeitgeist of video gaming. This week, we are going to talk about the Xbox Scorpio. Some new information released about the Scorpio and its specs.
Very exciting.
We're going to talk about graphics in games, how much they matter, kind of related to the first, and also ties into the third topic of EGX Rezzed. We went to EGX Rezzed over the weekend and saw a plethora of awesome indie games, so we're going to talk about them.
Some might say a smorgasbord.
Love that word, it's my favourite word.
It is my favourite word as well.
Smorgasbord of video games. So,
smorgas or board, which?
I find that schmorgas is an ugly word, bored is boring. Together, they make smorgasbord. They make the perfect mix of...
ugly boring.
Ugly boring. It's very exciting indeed. So I guess the first topic we kick off into, we do sort of 10-minute segments on each one. I'm trying to think how long we've been live for, because we went live a little bit late today, but we'll work it out as we go along. But it is the Xbox Scorpio. Now, those in the know will realise that when we mean Scorpio, we're talking about sort of Xbox's next generation console. They announced it at E3 last year. We only know it's called the Scorpio. We know it's got like 6 teraflops of data. It's supposed to be the most powerful console ever made, and it's due for release supposedly this holiday season.
In general, I find that the more ridiculous the word used to describe something's power, the more powerful it is.
That's true.
So
yeah.
teraflop.
Teraflops is a word that I'm sure sounds impressive, and I'm sure if you know what technology is, like in the computer space and in teraflop space,
but what
then it is impressive.
What does that, what's that equivalent? Like how many gigabytes is that?
I think it's a different terabyte. I think I don't know.
Or is it not?
I don't think it's the same measurement.
Is it not? Is it like?
Basically, it's just going to be stupidly powerful. In fact, it's supposed to be a console that's the equivalent of a high-end gaming PC kind of deal. Now, there's obviously been lots of speculation about it. Other people like Sony have jumped on this bandwagon, talking about power. Obviously, the PS4 Pro came out. That has increased power, increased 4K support. Kind of a little bit of an upgrade, but not sort of really. And the Xbox itself is, supposed to be this massively big sort of graphical and power overhaul. Now, the story that came out today that everyone was reporting on is that Digital Foundry were allowed to go to Microsoft, go to the boys. And Microsoft, obviously, this is another thing. They're obviously very proud of it. They're obviously happy with it because they invited Digital Foundry in to test it, essentially. And what Digital Foundry sort of found is that they have got all the teraflops they're talking about. Apparently, it runs incredibly well natively on 4K. Absolutely destroys the 60 frames a second frame rate, so it could potentially push that frame rate. So, in a nutshell, it's running very, very well.
Yeah, I mean, you said push that frame rate, so you could do more than 60 frames. Because I've heard that more than 60 frames just makes you feel unwell.
Well, PCs run stuff at more than that.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Or at least it runs it. I guess it runs it comfortably,
more smooth.
But real life is more than 60 frames, isn't it?
Yeah. Well,
and I don't feel unwell walking around the whole time.
No, but I think I definitely read something about more than 60 frames makes people feel unwell.
Probably
because the way that the camera moves.
So smooth.
Yeah, it's just so smooth. Because I think
like a baby's bottom.
Because it's different to the way that your eye moves. Because when your eyes move, you don't see the whole thing. You're not just like frame. You don't see the whole movement. Your eye doesn't focus the whole way. You like see that point and that point.
Right.
Whereas I think the more frames, because it's not your eye, it's a camera.
Yeah.
You're seeing more frames and it doesn't look natural. I think.
It's interesting.
That sounds in my head. That sounds like something that is true.
I mean, frame rate for me has never been something that's been a particular issue. Well, that said,
well, it's only an issue when frame rate drops
below 30.
Exactly.
But between 30 and 60, I would have said beforehand. I think I would have said actually, 30 frames is fine. Who needs more than 30? Seeing some 60 frames a second stuff, you're actually you can tell when the frame rate it drops.
It's at 60, yeah.
And you can tell when it's at 60. That said, I mean, it kind of pulls into question with this new hardware. I mean, it brings up this whole question of, okay, it's as powerful as they said it's going to be. Awesome. What is it? Because with that power, you've then got a few different questions. With the power comes great responsibility.
With that power comes great responsibility.
Well, there's a few different responsibilities they kind of have there. So first of all, I really enjoy my Xbox, actually. Start generation PlayStation guy, got an Xbox, really enjoy the Xbox. Love the PlayStation, but I've really grown to like the Xbox as well. Am I going to have to buy this new one? Is there going to be games coming out that I can't play on this Xbox? Now, they said there's not going to be.
Yeah, but there will come a point.
But if it's as powerful as this, what is the point in making this console, which is stupidly the most powerful console ever made, and limiting it because you want to have games on everything?
Yeah.
Now, and then is games going to become console games going to become like PC games, where if I have a Scorpio, I can run it at a really high resolution. If you've got one of the normal Xbox Ones, you have to run it at a lower resolution.
I reckon that's what's going to happen. I think they're going to downscale.
Yeah.
So I think games are going to be 1080, 60 frames per second, or whatever comes after that, 4K, 60 frames, or 70 frames, whatever. I think that's what the games are going to be as the benchmark, and then I think they'll still be available on the Xbox One, but they're going to be downscaled. So they're going to be running 50 or 40 frames and 900.
See, this is the problem. Like we are mainly console people. We put our game in and we know what we're talking about. You have no clue what you're talking about when you're talking about upgrade. Like the most pain in the ass thing about the PC. I mean, I enjoy having the PC for streaming. It brings you this show, and I like playing the odd simple game on it. But try and whack up Counter-Strike or something like that, and I go into it runs kind of slow, and you go into the menu, and it's like, there's the resolution and the frame rate, and there's texture packs, and you've got to turn this and this, and there's like a million different options. I'm just like, how do I tick a box that just make it do it? Know what I'm running. Yeah. Just make it work the best for that computer. I don't give a shit about what resolutions. Yeah. Just make it work. Run the game. I don't. And this is the kind of thing. I don't care if my PC is less powerful. I don't care if it does look as pretty as some of the high end PC. But make the thing, buddy. I don't want to have to know what I'm doing to go into it. And that might be my ignorance, but that's the beauty of console gaming.
Put it in and you go.
Yeah, and like, okay, you figure out it's not that difficult, but why should I have to figure it out? I pay my money. I want to play the game as beautiful as my machine can run it. Just fix it. Because then it's not as inclusive. What about everyone? Everyone who wants to try and do it. People suddenly got to figure out the best way to play their game.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that's not where the Scorpio is going to go, though. I think it's going to be downscale. So I think your Xbox One is, at least for the next few years, always going to be able to play games that run, full spec on the Scorpio.
Yeah.
I think your Xbox One is always going to be able to play them. It just won't be as pretty. So it's not like, and everybody's Xbox One is the same as well, and everybody's Scorpio will be the same. It's not like you can increase.
True. Very true.
Specs.
But Microsoft are bringing their games up to PC as well, so maybe that actually makes it easier to have that difference, because they're already bringing their games out for PC, then they already have the wide spectrum.
Yeah.
So the Scorpio will be able to run them games at a high spectrum, the Xbox will be able to run them games at a medium spectrum.
I think that's the thing that excites me the most, really, about the Scorpio and the PC games, is whether there's going to be more interconnectivity.
Yeah.
So whether Scorpio players are going to be able to play with PC gamers, and that's where I'm slightly more excited for things.
Yeah. I guess
they've already done it with Rocket League.
I mean, Rocket League can do it. They've already said as well that people can make cross compatibility with Xbox and PlayStation work. Basically, just both consoles need to work together.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to work. I actually don't think there's potentially an incentive to do it, because why the hell would you do it if you were? I mean, I'd like to. I mean, if we all, if one person had a PlayStation, it would be good to play with them if we had an Xbox. But like, why would the public? I totally understand why they wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Because then we're onto that guy going, buy a PlayStation or buy an Xbox, and he goes, okay, I will. But
I'm not that fussed about PlayStation and Xbox. I mean, PC and Xbox gamers.
Yeah, that would be good. But I mean, the difference there you bring into is like, at least PlayStation and Xbox gamers, they're using controllers. The people using mouse and keyboard potentially have a significant advantage over Xbox gamers.
True.
So it really does throw you into, especially with Rocket League's fun, especially with shooters, it throws you into this weird territory. Maybe we can do a topic on that another time.
Yeah, maybe. There's ways around it, though.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I had an interesting question. What do you think the Scorpio is going to look like?
As in the actual thing.
The actual thing.
All we've seen is close-ups. The only
of the
picture,
inside.
Yeah, it's always a close-up of the inside, and it looks like a motherboard or
Yeah, that's the other thing that comes out.
Like
I look at it and go, that looks like a computer thing.
Yeah.
Like, what am I supposed... And someone looking at that going, oh my god, look at the circuitry on that thing. That looks amazing.
Oh, look at that RAM
But
thing.
I'm sitting there going, yeah, that looks... I mean, yeah. It looks like a computer system, And we're techie guys. We're not computer illiterate idiots, but we're sitting there going, what am I supposed to gain from that? Like, yes, it's essentially a deconstructed hard drive you've got there.
I think that's what I think that what they're trying to do is make us dumb console gamers think, wow, look how powerful that is, because you associate a high-end PC with circuit boards and components. So if they're showing pictures of that, us gamers are going to be like, oh wow, look at that. Oh wow, that looks really special. That looks like something. Maybe that looks like something that's super powerful.
I like to think of us as higher standards.
I don't know, but
I think that's brilliant. Unless they're completely tricking us, and that is it.
Yeah, could you imagine? It's like a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, that's what it is. The Scorpio is literally this hard drive, and you're just like, oh shit, they had it unveiled the whole time. We just didn't realise.
You stick an SD card into it.
I don't know. I imagine it being this sort of. I imagine them bringing that in black first.
No, I think it's going to be white.
You're going to be white. I see him bringing that in black first. So the advert being like very like dark and like powerful. This is like because when
but Xbox tends to alternate. So like OG Xbox was black, Xbox 360 was white, Xbox One was black.
But this isn't a new console. This is a continuation. I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting.
I think it's going to be.
But white. I just picture like when people tend to bring out powerful things, it tends to be in black rather than in white initially. Like when you think of gaming PCs, like be black, monoliths sitting there.
Yeah. I'm still going to go with white though. I think it's going to be white.
Okay. We'll see. That could be a cool prediction. We'll see when it comes out. There's rumours that it's going to come out way earlier than holiday. So.
Yeah, well, they were saying that they're way ahead of schedule. They're like 6 months ahead of schedule or something.
Which would be cool. We'll see how it happens. See how it happens. I'll bring some more news when we hear about more
I think this is probably the first time that there's been a new console and there's not been much... There is hype around it, but there's not been much leaked or, images and concepts.
I think they're controlling the story quite well.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, and we'll get into this on other topics. We're going to move on, but I mean, really, I really hope it is a continuation rather than this new console, because by the time the Xbox One and the PS4 came out, I really wanted a new console. I in no way at all want to have to go to a new console. No,
I can't be bothered at the moment.
I'm very happy with what I've got.
But true. I mean, the Xbox One has been out for almost 4 years now.
2013,
16, 17, almost 4 years.
Yeah. Anywho, that's the Scorpio. We're going to be. It actually takes us sort of nicely into the second topic, which kind of molds together today, all the topics. But that's obviously with more power. One of the big things people say about is running natively in 4K. It runs natively in 4K. It's beautiful 4K TV. Is graphics, and I guess moving on from that conversation is a kind of a continuation in a way. It's almost like what does the power matter? Do the graphics matter? And then what does graphics mean to the average people? What do graphics mean to us? I mean, I struck you in the arm. Alec, what do graphics mean to you? What do graphics mean to you? Yeah, but essentially, for me, I'm not going to be one of the people that saying graphics don't matter. I appreciate a pretty game. And we went to see some great games at Rezzed that we'll talk about in the third topic, but we saw the one hat I'm wearing, and I told the guys that I would wear this hat on our next stream, but the DRG Initiative, really cool new game we played. The first thing I noticed when I went up to it was like, oh man, that game looks really nice. Yeah. It's only 5 months in development. I said, that game looks really pretty.
Yeah, well, they'd literally just built that for the show
pretty much. Yeah,
just
as a display piece. Yeah. But I was drawn to that. I'm not a big fan of these. They're mainly when you see like PlayStation Plus and games with gold games, the ones that are like super pixelated, kind of jumpy platformers. Don't do it for me at all. Graphics do matter to me, but at the same time, which one are you looking for? You're looking for a certain game?
I was looking for an example, because I have a sticker of something like that, but I don't think it's on here.
No.
Anyway, continue.
Yeah, I mean, graphics do matter, but I guess the thing for me, and this is it's not, and the graphics on these consoles are awesome. The graphics on the old ones are awesome. I much prefer games that are stylized. I think they hold up better. I'm talking Borderlands,
Telltale games,
even the PlayStation Plus game just came out, which is quite good. So called Drawn to Death.
Have you played it yet?
I have, yeah. I played the tutorial and I played one online game, and I came from like way far behind to win the game.
Nice.
I need to play it some more. But the art style is very interesting. I'm not going to say it's like gorgeous, but it's very interesting art style. And those sorts of games, I think, actually hold up, significantly better because they have this individual style to them. And I actually think Nintendo do this really well with stuff like Splatoon. I mean, you look at some of the things here. There are some Nintendo ones. I mean, there's ukulele style things up here. There's some Nintendo somewhere around here. Mario Kart, and the games look. They're not. When people say about Nintendo systems, they're not as powerful, but their games look gorgeous because they have this style around them.
Well, Zelda, for instance, has a very specific style, but it looks stunning.
Yeah,
but it's not. It's not like Rise Son of Rome, which was just a game that looked really good and still does. In fairness, it still does hold up.
Yeah,
and it was a great game as well. But then I think in the past, I feel that there have been games that have just gone for that sort of wow, look at this, isn't this amazing? Sort of high-end graphics with not much content. I don't think that's the case as much now. I can't remember the last time that there was a game that looked. That everybody was talking about how fantastic it looked, but the content just wasn't there.
Yeah, I mean, the last one I kind of remember the big time on that was The Order, 1976 or 1960? Yeah, 1980. 1886. Yeah.
And that was...
It was a gorgeous game. The gameplay kind of wasn't there, but that's
that was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was now. Yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah, That's kind of my concern with moving on from something like the Switch. Is the more people care about power and graphics, and we're console guys. I don't want to. It shouldn't be like an us and them situation. But genuinely, you people that play PC games, like they do bring up graphics as a lot of thing, and whether it's because we have this deep seated like consoles in us, but I genuinely are not caring. Like they're sitting there going like, oh, but you can't play it in this. I'm just like, I don't care.
Yeah, but
if the game's fun to play,
I can understand why they probably care a bit more because they spend a lot of money on updating and upgrading their PCs so that they can play like updating graphics cards and that sort of stuff, so they can play the games in their full glory.
Yeah, but that's them to do. I mean, if you pay the money to do that, then that's important. But you could still play the game in a lower quality.
Yeah.
I think if the game is. You don't need if the game loses nothing from having that, then like Battlefield. I played Battlefield so many times. Battlefield's awesome. We love playing Battlefield. I don't care that it's slightly worse than what people can get on the PC. But then I guess at the same time, people look at it and go, "Holy shit, that looks gorgeous on the PC." I guess the concern is that with consoles, it shouldn't. I mean, we'll move on to Rezzed, but I mean, actually, I find myself wanting to play these big games like. Not less, but less frequently, because I like these smaller games that are coming through, and they haven't got the resources, they haven't got the money to spend on these big graphics, and they're stunning. They're just as good.
Yeah, for me, graphics and genre as well. It's not as important. Genre is not as important as content, as the story, the narrative. That's the crux for me. That's what sells a game.
Yeah, and you know what I really care about in a game, more than it being incredibly beautiful, is I look at a game like Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Which is quite good looking.
No, very good looking game. But, like, you can't... There's no jump button, so, like, there's like, you can climb up stuff, and most of the time you can climb.
Yeah.
But there'll be, like, a small ledge that you can't get, and the climb button's not appearing. It's like, why can't I get up there? Or, like, the fact that, like, you can't shoot through a thin piece of sheet metal. Like, I'm pretty sure I've tried it. I'm pretty sure that you can't shoot through stuff in that game. You can shoot through glass.
Yeah,
but I don't think you can shoot through walls or metal.
I'm pretty sure I've shot through wood.
Because there was a guy up in a sniper post with the thin bit of metal there, crouched behind it. I've got a freaking light machine gun, and I was just blowing that guy at nothing. But then a sniper shot me, I'm pretty sure, through. I don't know I don't know what the deal is. No. So I'd rather people focus on the sort of small nuances, making the world as interactive and as possible. If that suffers slightly on the graphics, I don't care because I'm too busy being awesome and shooting some guy. Yeah. That said, if it was too bad, it would look like shit and people criticise you for it.
True. There's a fine line.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's also sort of on display in people's lack of preference towards graphics with the new Mass Effect that came out. that looks significantly better than the old Mass Effects, but then their big concern was facial animations and actually context behind people talking and animations.
Yeah.
And obviously, with more bigger game, you need to have the resource like your teraflops to do better facial animations. But again, like didn't matter how pretty your face was if it's not animated.
Yeah, if they look weird.
Yeah, we should do the rest of the video like the Mass Effect characters, like really wide eyes. Although they have just released a patch which makes it better, so I guess we should probably like stop because my eyes are like
it's very difficult to speak without any facial animations.
Yeah. It's like Fallout, original Fallout, got a lot of Oblivion characters. Like,
oh yeah.
Hey.
And they're just
hello, traveller.
Super rectangular.
But yeah, I mean, I guess that's the thing. That's my opinion on graphics.
Yeah, no, I think I agree. For me, gameplay is key, which I think is why I enjoyed Rezzed so much.
That's a good segue into the third topic.
Yeah, because thanks for just announcing it. It was going to be a nice seamless thing, but there you go, just smacking it right on the head with your hammer. It's weird. I'm gonna carry on talking. I think he's buffering. Just got the little. Yeah, there were just so many fantastic indie games at an indie game expo. You'd imagine there will be some fantastic indie games.
Yeah,
but it was just it was full of brilliant games, really imaginative and new concepts, and so many sort of passionate and excited people. Both the people who were making the games and the people who were talking about the games and the people who were playing the games. It was just a very nice event.
Yeah, it was, and you go to these events, you obviously get to play so many games, but never in an event do I feel guilty for not playing. We played a lot of games, but I think you want to get to. These guys feel so passionate. We were just right at the end. We were walking through, trying to basically steal as many leaflets and posters as we can to sort of mock these up.
This.
And we were wearing some double XP shirts, and some guys stopped us and was like, "Hey, the double XP guys, we'd sent them an email, which was awesome." And we were like, "Thanks for stopping us," because it was great to talk to him. But we didn't get to play his game because we were kind of on the way out. And I was like, "Oh man, that sucks." But he did. We can give it a go now. We can obviously talk about it. Yeah, with them, we played some great games, and none of them, I mentioned DRG Initiative had a very beautiful, looked very beautiful, but the gameplay's only 5 months in. We played some great games, like I'm looking at, Super Arcade Football was really good fun, didn't care about graphics.
Sundown was a great game, one of my favourites from the show, actually.
But I guess the thing about these is that they're...
Day of Infamy.
Yeah, well, except for Day of Infamy, the rest of them are very stylized. Day of Infamy then just uses, goes down that route in gameplay vision. I'm trying to think what else is here. Ukulele obviously is up there, which is a big again.
Brawl Out. You can kind of see it there.
Brawl Out is kind of cartoonish. But yeah, so EGX Rezzed was really, really great. Hopefully some of you guys got down there. We managed to talk to lots of people in Tobacco Docks in London. I guess it'd be good to maybe just in this segment just talk about some of we put out an article, but we could talk about some of our sort of games of the show. So you obviously like Sundown.
I love Sundown. So Sundown, the concept behind Sundown is that it's a 4-player top-down multiplayer shooter game.
Yep.
And it's third person, and the idea is that the whole map is in darkness, and it's actually super spooky. And you can move around the map without anybody seeing you. If you move in front of a light source, then you show up on the map and everybody knows where you are, so you quickly move back into the darkness. But if you shoot your gun, you show up as well.
Yeah.
And the bullets also give off light, so if you shoot your gun down a corridor and there's somebody there that doesn't get hit, they'll show up, and it just creates like a sort of mad rush of gunfire.
That's cool.
It's a really good concept because it's basically just it's all calm and quiet, people are moving around, because you can't actually see your character.
Yeah.
So you have a rough idea of where you are, but you're not 100% sure. So then
sounds cool.
You'll see somebody shoot and you're like, oh, I could be near them. Maybe I'll shoot and try and hit them. So you shoot, but then you show up and you've missed them, and everybody knows where you are, and all of a sudden you're just like...
Did you play on one screen? I didn't get to play this.
All on one screen,
Then, surely, how do you see your character?
You don't. That's the thing. You don't know where you are. So it's basically you'll shoot. You start off. You can see where everybody is at the very start. Then you go into darkness, and then you move around. So you know where you were, and you sort of move.
You kind of have to guess where you are.
Yeah.
So you could be there, and you go, I've got this lined up. You push the button, and you're somewhere completely different.
Well, yeah, potentially. Yeah, you could be the other side of the map, and you'll shoot, and you'll light up, and you realise where you are, and you've just given away your position. It's a really fun game. Really good fun. Really good. A really interesting concept. I don't know how much replayability it has, whether it'd be a fantastic party game, kind of like Overcooked.
Yeah.
I guess.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's not the sort of game you want to play on your own, though.
No, it did look cool. It did look really interesting, actually. Yeah, and I think the idea that's nice. I like the idea that you sort of don't know where you are.
Exactly. It adds another layer to it.
I mean, that's what we saw a lot of these sort of games at EGX, like Towerfall, like some the ones that are really good party games. Maybe a single player aren't so great, but like, you know, ones that you'd absolutely love to. Yeah, ones. Oh My God Heads was another one. Oh My God Heads was an awesome game where you basically have to pick up a head, a god head, and 2 teams of 2 have to put it and score goals on the other side. Really good fun party game. Brawl Out, again, a Smash style fighting game. Super arcade football, like I mentioned, would be pretty really cool. 2 players, like really just crazy arcade, fast paced football nonsense, kind of randomness. Again, DRG Initiative I was going to talk about. I mean, those guys, the game looked nice, 5 months in development, but there is obviously a core multiplayer game, 3 aside for now.
It's kind of about multiplayer, really.
Yeah, and
those Twitch
they've built, so they're using Amazon servers,
yeah,
and they've built the game from the ground up to be basically an esports. So they have 3 aside. You can have an extra player who is their responsibility. They can control the cameras, they can control ammo drops, benefits.
So kind of Hunger Games style.
Yeah, really cool. Really cool, actually.
And it can be voted. So at the time they were doing it, people at the venue were voting, but also people watching on Twitch were voting as well. So they'd say, give player 2 more ammo, or they could also, I think they could like give you damage and that sort of stuff as well.
Oh yeah, I think it could. I mean, it was a really cool idea, and meeting the guys, and that I said, I think I said in my article, and I said to you guys, like, that wasn't my game of the show because it's so early in development. A cool game.
It's difficult to tell what it's actually going to be like by the time it's finished.
But it was definitely my moment in the show. Me, you, and Den, and there's the pictures up on Facebook and Twitter. Me, you, and Den in our shirts. 3 versus we challenged the developers to a game, and we lost. Of course we did, because we don't play PC games, and they're the developers. But it was the closest I've ever come to be like an esports sensation, because we had people behind us, people like cheering and clapping and stuff. Yeah. I managed to get 1 kill, which was like all I wanted to do. So that was impressive.
Got a couple kills.
I think you got a few. Yeah.
In fairness, one of them, the guy was like jumping around. He knew that we weren't going to win. It was me versus those 3. And he had just finished teabagging Alex's corpse.
He had.
He turned around and he started we were like having a shoot off. And then he started just jumping around. So I whipped out my pistol and like shot him down. And then I think he sort of realised that, they're probably going to have to try. And then that's when I got shot in the head. They put me out my misery.
It was a lot of fun. They just bang, there you go, straight away.
It was really
then we jumped from that to Dick Wild, which was a really cool VR game.
Dick Wild was so much fun.
I'm kind of really bummed out because it's out right now on Oculus and Vive. I've got a PSVR. It comes out in August on PSVR, which is such a long time away. Because I want to be able to get it and be shooting alligators and shooting piranhas and
it's
stuff.
So much fun, and like shooting from the hip as well. Oh, I just knocked the ball.
You wobbling the ball.
It's fine. Shooting from the hip, like I had a shotgun and a shield. So I was like shooting the shotgun from the hip and like shooting the shield up, and like the bow and arrow was good fun as well. That was really good fun. Yeah,
this video again. Check out the Facebook. This video of Alec in our highlights reel, and there'll be some more content on Dick Wild coming out as well. I just want to give a shout out to Flip and Death. We played on the Switch as well.
Yeah.
I thought the controls were a little bit odd, and I think they maybe need to do more work on the tutorial because I was relying quite heavily on the developer to sort of tell me what to do. Yeah. Whereas when I play these games at the show, I like to kind of just dive in and just see how I can play it. Because if I can get on and play it, then they've done a good job of explaining the game to me. If I'm sitting there stuck, then obviously the developers need to go away and make it clearer.
Yeah.
And especially, I mean, some games you figure it out, but especially in this game, it's quite intricate. That you have to sort of switch between the death world and the real world, and you can take people over. And it's a really cool concept, but it was a little bit tricky to do. My first time playing the Switch as well, which was the controllers. I didn't really play the Switch; you just had the controller in your hand, which was interesting.
Yeah, I got to play on the small controllers, the individual controllers.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
and that was super confusing because the problem is that because the controllers are made up of extra bits, the buttons are different on each one, so that like to do things, it's like press the plus or the minus. Press instead of saying press B, it like points to where you need to press on the controller, and you don't know if you're holding it the right way up because like all of the letters are in different orders. So it was really confusing. But I got used to it eventually. I don't know if yeah, that probably wasn't the best game. I would have liked to have played Zelda on the Switch to see.
I spoke to one of my old colleagues recently, and he
Leroy.
No.
Oh,
it's called Leon.
Oh, Leon. Yeah, I meant Leon.
Yeah, and he's got the Switch. Value that guy's opinion on games, and he literally has said that Zelda is probably the best game, one of the best games he's ever played, and it's definitely probably the best Nintendo game ever made. So, and he doesn't throw that around flippantly.
I've heard some fantastic things about Zelda, but I don't think one game would be enough to sell a console.
No, I think with the Switch, I mean, we're getting to a different topic here, but I think with the Switch, I'd wait for now I've missed getting it from the start.
Wait for it to drop
in price, but also like there's some, there's always some teething problems when it first comes out, and I'm normally always first. I'm an early adopter. I don't care. I'd give me the teething problems, but if you miss the early adopter, then it's best probably just to wait until they've fixed the teething problems a year down the line.
Yeah.
Maybe after the wedding, I get as a little treat, like a little honeymoon treat.
The way that you said after the wedding and looked at me like that,
after we were getting married,
we're getting married, and actually separately, but very close to each other.
Yeah,
within like a couple of weeks.
Yeah. So if you get one after you get married, you could play it at my wedding. And
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
On our honeymoons, we'll be like playing online. Miss you, Alex.
But EGX Rezzed was really, really good fun. I think finally, just Denny came down with us. He'll probably kill us if we don't mention Day of Infamy, because he absolutely loved that game. Really cool World War II Counter-Strike style shooter where two teams have to either defend or push for objectives. But it runs on the same engine as Counter-Strike, so a really interesting game.
And you can set bots as well, and the bots were actually challenging.
Yeah,
which was nice. It was refreshing because the amount of games that don't have bots now, and if they do have bots, they suck.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Or they have a difficulty spike of like suck or impossibly difficult. There's no like middle ground.
There's like regular where they just run onto your bullets.
Yeah.
Like, just stand on the end of your gun, just like, do it. Just do it.
Just come and kill me.
And then there's like regular, which is slightly tough. And then after that, it's just like, they're sort of 360 in midair, sniping you in the head.
Yeah, dead. And I think Day of Infamy did it really well.
Yeah, I really. Day of Infamy, it was probably the game I played the most.
Just a really solid World War II style shooter. It was with a very Counter-Strike vibe. So if you're into those sorts of games, I think Day of Infamy is definitely interesting. There will obviously be the opportunity to get really good at it, and I think they have ambitions to be a Counter-Strike style game where people builds up a community of players that just play this game. That gets a thing around it. So very, very cool game. Yeah, and I know I played a little bit of it, but you and Den certainly played a lot of it. Especially Denny kept going back to Day of Infamy to give it another go. I was like, there's so many games here. We need to try some more games. Day of Infamy. So shout out to you guys.
I also got this super fancy shirt.
Nuka-Cola.
From the Fallouts.
Pretty good.
I bought the shirt. I wasn't given it.
No, I got some Spider-Man socks, but I haven't got them on, so I can't show.
Plus, it'd be so awkward.
I'd have to put my foot up in the air. Be like a whole thing, probably fall back, break the new set.
Yeah.
Oh god,
that'd be brilliant.
I have to get a new one.
That'd be one for the outtake.
Anyway, guys, this has been this week's GGEZ on Double XP. We covered the Scorpio, graphics within games, and also EGX Rezzed, and apparently the Switch as well is a different topic because we always just like to talk about the Switch. You can catch me and Alec every Thursday with the GGEZ. And then you can also catch our other shows up on Double XP as well. So on Sundays we do a live stream, just a let's play of a game. We've been trying to play Call of Duty Ghosts for the last 3 weeks.
Call of Duty Ghosts?
Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands.
I always get confused as well.
I completely botched that one, didn't I? We've been trying to play that for a long time, but we can't because internet troubles. But
I think we've sorted it.
We might have got it sorted, which would be awesome because I've basically completed the game now, so I don't need to play it anymore.
Yeah. It's just going to be him hand-holding me through the whole game.
Come on, Alec, come here. This is the way to go. And then me and Lucy go live with our couples gaming night stream on Tuesday evenings here on Facebook on Double XP, where we're actually getting into Diablo. So you're going to get some Diablo action. You got some Diablo action this Tuesday. Probably going to get some Diablo action coming up in future.
Nice. And don't forget to check out awesome new website, doublexp.net. That's double as in the word, xp.net. And we've got tons of awesome content on there where we keep bringing more content So yeah.
I've got loads of content to upload, and
So
as well we've got more stuff from EGX, just general content. I was going to say for double XP, check the name of the Facebook page, but Facebook, let us change our name. We have provided you with so much evidence, like we've submitted. Facebook, let us change your name. Please.
We don't want to be I'm Playing anymore.
We don't want to be I'm Playing anymore. It's really confusing.
We don't want to have to rebrand again.
We don't want to have to make a new Facebook account. Please, unbrand. Yeah, and check out the Twitter account, which is at DXP Gaming. So lots of cool stuff coming on the Twitter account as well. So stay tuned for that. And if you have any suggestions for anything else we should do on GGEZ, topics we should cover, please do get in touch on our social media channels. Let us know that, hey, GGEZ should cover this, and we'll see if we can get to it. Yeah. Until next time, though, guys, I've been Alex. This has been Alec.
Goodbye.
And we'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Bye.